So as you guys know, I'm a big fan of total conversion mods. I think if you're familiar with this channel, you know that I play a variety of them from God Herja to Agot to Realms in Exile and everything in between. So today I'd like to talk about 4 upcoming total conversion mods that I'm very excited for, very interested in seeing their progress, and we're just going to jump right into it. So the first one I've actually already featured technically on the channel before is Amanar. I announced not that long ago, or made a little video announcing that they were going to be coming to CK3, which has been known for a while, but they finally released a sneak peek about a month ago, detailing some of that. You can watch the video in the description. It's about 6 minutes long. Amanar is a EU4 mod, so it's going to be coming over to CK3, which I honestly think that the format might do it a lot of benefit, might allow it to expand some of its lore and internal things. It's going to have a different start date. It's going to be a little bit, I think a couple hundred years before the current start date in EU4, and it's basically just like a fantasy total conversion mod if you wanted just the most basic definition of it. If you don't know anything about it, that's what it is. It looks very exciting, very cool. I'm very much looking forward to this one coming out because there's a lot of lore, and as you guys know, I love me some lore. So I'm excited to dive into that and sort of just pick it apart, and then obviously do a big overview video for you guys. And I'm also curious to see how they do the races, because I've heard that, and then they said also that they've been working with other dev teams to try to create some of these cool, unique races in the game. So very much looking forward to this. I'm very excited for Amanar. I think it's going to be great. I know no timeline, I don't think, for when it's going to come out. I would assume we'll get a few more updates sometime this year, and we'll see from there. So the second mod is The Witcher's Realm. Now this mod has me quite intrigued. I'm a huge fan of The Witcher. I've read all the books twice, and I've played all of the games, and I think that honestly this is a brilliant idea. I didn't even hear about this till probably a couple weeks ago, that there was going to be a Witcher mod, and after I heard about it I was like, that makes so much sense. So we don't have a lot of information about it. I don't even think it's in beta yet or anything. Slight correction, actually, I'm adding this in later. So you can actually play with The Witcher Realms. It's in version 0.2.2 as of 11/27/2023. Probably have to roll back your Steam game, but if you did want to give this a try, you can absolutely do so. It is available in some form to play, sort of like Amanar is available in like a beta form. So if you're curious about what the world looks like, what it look like, how it plays, you can definitely jump in there now and give it a go. But I have a few screenshots on screen that you can check out. It looks pretty promising. It looks like they're trying to be pretty faithful to the game. I also love the way the map looks in some of these screenshots, so I hope they sort of keep this flavor, this very condensed map thing. I would love it too. I don't know if they're going to do a table. I think everybody has to do a table. I'm not sure now. I would love to see some like Witcher elements around the table, and that you could, like customize or whatever. That would be cool. Obviously, that's like a minor thing, so who cares? But that's just something that I was thinking about. As far as the mod itself goes, I mean, I'm going to be hopping in there. I'm going to be playing as Nilfgaard because for some reason I'm supposedly a paladin, but I can't help but play these evil characters. But I'm very intrigued about this one. I think that the setting in general, with all the conflicts that go on anyway, is a really good sandbox for this sort of game, for CK3, and I'm very much looking forward to seeing what they come up with here. Going to be following this one closely. If I hear any updates, or if the dev team would like to reach out, or if I could reach out to them, I'll try to, and I'll keep you posted. So our third mod here is Sons of the Lightning, and now this one caused quite a big stir, or commotion rather, at least on my Discord, when people were telling me about it. So basically, Carthage replaces Rome. This is an alternative history mod where Carthage ended up being the power in the Mediterranean and not Rome. So I'm going to read their description just because it makes more sense if I do that. Sons of the Lightning is an upcoming alt history overhaul mod for CK3 that looks at how the medieval period might have taken shape in a world in which Rome never rose to its imperial heights. With no state gaining a hegemony over the Mediterranean, some ancient cultures and faiths have managed to survive well beyond their historical demise, but face challenges both familiar and new. Now this one I'm very intrigued by because there's a lot of things you can do with this. However, I'm daunted for the creator because the touch of Rome in the West is expansive. I'm not a Romaboo by any means, as you guys know, I've said that many times, but just trying to grapple with how much Rome has affected the world in general is going to be quite difficult. I would imagine this mod starts off very small and then sort of expands from there. At least that's what I would try to do personally. I'm not a modder, as you guys know, but this one has the potential to be probably one of the most interesting mods on the platform. Very much interested in this, and I figured it would be worth mentioning because I don't see a lot of people talking about it. I don't know if anybody has heard about it and then maybe written it off, but I would definitely keep your eyes open. They seem to be quite active and quite vocal about like what they're doing, what their plans are. So if you want to keep track of a mod that is very much actively in development, this is a good one. And then lastly, we have Dragon Age Thetus at War. Now this one, all right, so I was a huge Dragon Age fan. Who wasn't? If you were an RPG fan in the 2000s, you probably played some Dragon Age, right? There is no set release date for this. This is another one that's still in beta, or not even in beta. I think it's, in pre-alpha, right? So their plan is to start in 2.5 Glory, a period in Thetis' history rich with conflict and narrative possibilities. The lands have just emerged from the ravages of the Second Blight. Would-be unifiers arise in Ferelden, and tensions between the elves and the humans of Orlais threaten to spiral into all-out war. I think that this one could also be quite interesting because you do have a lot of different groups, right, battling or like vying for control of their respective regions. Like the Wood Elves, or the elves that don't live in cities in this one, have a lot of incentive probably to be hostile towards humans, as well as the elves in cities. But you also have dwarves. You have the Kunari, which that one could be a lot of fun for people. There's even the potential to play as Darkspawn. I don't know if they're going to do that, but that would be actually pretty cool. The Blight is over, so I would assume not. Maybe this is a way of like getting around that. But if they did ever decide to do that, that could be an interesting, thing to see. But a lot of potential with Dragon Age, and there's a lot of pre-established lore. This one could be popular only because people don't have to go into it and like discover the lore, sort of like what I've heard some complaints about, God Herja and Amanar, that you have to sort of do a little bit of digging on your own end to try to understand the world. Whereas this one, it's a pre-established IP, sort of like Lord of the Rings, sort of like, Game of Thrones. And it allows you to just jump in and sort of know what's happening if you're already a fan of it. And that's kind of like the Way of Kings mod as well, which I've never played here on the channel because I'm not familiar with the lore. But I've heard it's quite popular and people seem to really enjoy it. But it's sort of like that, like this is going to be an established IP being made into a mod. I've heard whispers that there's a Warhammer mod. Not too sure what's going on with that. I'm not as excited for that as I am for these ones, but I'll keep my eye open, see what's up with that. But that's going to be it for this one. Just wanted to give you a general overview of these mods, talk about them very briefly. I'm very excited to see what they do. As you guys know, I love mods. I love the CK3 modding community, and I always am happy to talk to any of the devs who would like their mod to be highlighted in some way and to be, disseminated to the public on this platform. But that is going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, I'm Soul. This has been 4 CK3 Total Conversion mods I'm looking forward to. Very catchy title, I know, and I will happily see you in the next one.